A few years ago, I had the most disturbing Halloween of my life. I was in my 3rd year of university, and me and my housemates decided to go out trick-or-treating. Being in our early 20s, we probably should have known better, but we had been drinking since noon, and our judgement was somewhat impaired. We got dressed up in some tatty costumes left over from a previous party. We were Thor, Aladdin, and a Victorian cat. I was Humpty Dumpty. We were truly a shoddy sight to behold. Watching Thor take a piss into the neighbour's bird bath pretty much set the tone for what was to follow. I should point out that this story is absolutely insane. I don't want to incriminate any of my friends, so from now on, I'll refer to them only as the characters that they were dressed as. It was about 9 PM, and we tried trick-or-treating at a few doors, but with limited success. The best we got was a can of chopped tomatoes from a confused old lady. Halloween in the UK is crap. No one gets it. It's awkward and weird. The streets were barren, it was chucking it down with rain, and Aladdin had the shits. He'd eaten a dodgy kebab for breakfast, and we kept having to stop off at public toilets so he could sort himself out. The night wasn't going as planned. Then Victorian Cat suggested we do a bit of cherry knocking. I wish we had all rejected the idea. That would have saved all hell from breaking loose. Instead, we unanimously agreed that it was a superb idea, a decision that we would all live to regret. So we took it in turns, sneaking up to doors, knocking on them and then jumping into hiding. Then we get to this one house and it's my turn. This was a more risky prospect because it had a really long driveway that was lit up all the way to the porch. I kept my head down, every so often looking back at my mates who were crouched behind a bush at the bottom of the drive. For the first time, seeing them all huddled together in their crap costumes, tittering like a bunch of schoolboys, I realised how lame we must look. We thought our outfits were quirky and ironically cool, but actually, standing out there in the rain, we just looked like a bunch of fucking losers. Anyway, I get to the front door, knock as loudly as I can, and then bolt it back down the driveway. But as I get closer to where my friends are hiding, I see that there is a huge figure looming behind them. Somehow they haven't noticed him, even though he is absolutely massive. He's wearing half a jack-o'-lantern on his head and has squeezed himself into a skin-tight leotard. He's not exactly in good shape, and all his lumps and bumps are on full show. But the most disturbing thing by far is that he's chewing on the head of a dead pigeon. This isn't another trick-or-treater, I think to myself. This is a total nutcase. Are you enjoying that? I ask him, alerting my friends to his presence. Aladdin screams, and that seems to trigger this guy. He lunges at them, but they are too quick, and he loses his footing. As he's off balance, Victorian Cat kicks him up the arse, so he falls into a bush. There's some nervous laughter, as we know we've taken this too far, even if he did start it. Look, we don't want any trouble, I say to him. Let's just go our separate ways. But he isn't having any of it. He gets back on his feet and grabs Victorian Cat and starts ragdolling him from side to side. We all jump on him and try to make him let go. Up close, he's truly disgusting. He has pigeon guts and feathers stuck to his face. He's insanely strong, and it takes all of our might to free our friend. Then someone starts shouting at us from the top of the drive. It's the guy whose door I was knocking on. He screams at us to get off his property or he'll call the police. We make a run for it. I think that this is the end of our confrontation with that pumpkin-headed leotard man, but as I look back, I see that he's chasing after us, and to my horror, he's clutching at a power drill, aiming it at us like it's a gun. I shout out to my mates, warning them, and we all peg it down a jitty. Not too far behind, I can hear him gaining on us. I'm normally a capable runner, but being dressed up like a giant egg has turned me into a right tubby bastard. and as I hear footsteps closing in on me, I have to make a snap decision to hop over a wall into someone's garden. I know, classic Humpty Dumpty. I'm left panting into some pansies as I hear that lunatic searching for me. He's so close that I can hear his laboured breaths. Then I hear the sound of a drill. He's trying to scare me and flush me out, but I stay still. How the hell did we get ourselves into this mess? What a shit show of a night. I can see his pumpkin head starting to appear over the top of the wall that I'm hiding behind. He plays with the drill some more. Then I hear Thor's voice. "Over here, you wanker," he shouts. The man grunts and takes chase. I poke my head up and see him running after my mate, and he's closing in fast. I find all of my friends in a side alley. That lunatic has Thor pinned to the ground and is trying to drill through his helmet. Thor is flapping around like a fish as that crazy man chuckles with glee. It's all too much for Aladdin. He's curled up in the fetal position, wishing that he'd never left the womb. Victorian Cat comes running to Thor's aid, kicks the drill out of the man's hand and grabs him in a headlock. But he just stands up, lifts Victorian Cat into the air and throws him down into the gutter. The scene is absolute carnage. My friends are rolling around on the ground in agony. The man strides over to his drill and stoops to pick it up. I seize the moment and charge forwards, catching him off guard with a solid shoulder barge. He stumbles from his position and falls awkwardly. He's down between two wheelie bins and we see our chance to pin him in. Victorian Cat grabs one bin and Thor helps me grab the other, and we start ramming him. His pumpkin mask gets severely battered and starts to split. We keep slamming him with the bins until he's wedged up against a wall. Then we engage the wheel locks and he's trapped. His body is contorted with just his head poking out. I pick up the drill and taunt him with it, pressing it up against his stupid pumpkin head. I slowly squeeze the trigger so that it winds its way into the flesh. I'm trying to get a reaction, but all he does is stare back at me, his eyes cold. I withdraw the drill bit that's now covered in pulp and throw it away as far as I can. We know we don't have long before he regains composure, so we all make a run for it. We hop on the first bus we see and get the hell out of there. It's a total disaster of a night. Victorian Cat is messed up, and his ragged fur makes him look like a novelty toilet brush. Thor's Viking hat is missing its horns, probably inserted somewhere deep within him, and Aladdin has finally let the genie out of the lamp and gone and shit himself. Despite this, they are in high spirits, happy that the nightmare is over. But as I go to pay Thor back for getting my bus fare, a terrible realization creeps over me as I find that in all the commotion, I have lost my wallet. It doesn't just hold all of my money, but also my photo ID, complete with home address. The bus trundles through the dead streets. I look out at the night and catch my gormless face staring back at me. I should have just stayed in and watched TV.